There we go. There we go. Nice little
Yeah,
smooth intro. Nice little
yeah,
smooth
man.
intro.
I know, man. We are here. We are here. New faces, dog. SEC live. Um, I'm Bama, as you can see, just Bama TV, and I got my co-host here, Tegan Randolph. Um,
if,
the
if y'all don't know, this is a long time coming.
very long time coming, man. As you can see, he got the Cotton Bowl flag in the back. And I know if you pay attention to detail, you see my hat and you see the headline right there, Ty Simpson FC. You don't even need to ask how I feel about what team. Uh, but yeah, man, we here, man, to talk some SEC ball and get y'all entertained over here, man. I think we're gonna have some good takes for y'all. Mm, good perspective. You got a guy that already covers the SEC and Tegan. I
Mhm.
grew up watching SEC ball, so it's played ball. So, I'm excited. This is long overdue, man. I feel like it's going to be a good show going forward. Not even just this show, but just going forward in general. You guys going to get some
Yeah.
good takes, man. So,
We got a lot of stuff planned for this, and I think
for
one of the
sure.
big things that me and Bama both said was like, how is an SEC channel not just popping off? This is the best conference in all of college football. You don't got to try to tell me no Big Ten talk over around here. So we're super excited to dive into this, and we thought no better way than to just kick it off with a good old off-season show. We're gonna get a lot of things going, popping off around here. So super excited for this, and what no better way that let's just dive in, Bama. Let's get to that first topic, man.
Absolutely.
And I think this one, truthfully impacts is all of college football. Everyone is getting impacted, but one of the big narratives around college football is now that you can pay players, the Big Ten is outspending the SEC. That the SEC is now secondary to everyone else, but I don't know if you heard or not. It's been all over the news. The new settlement that set in. We got a $20.5 million cap across all sports. Just straight up want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, man. I'm all for it, man. Maybe not the whole landscape of the NIL and how it kind of feels like the wild, wild west, but in a sport that's so unforgiving as football, and it's not even a guarantee that you're gonna make it to the league, even if you are good. Um, I love the kids having an opportunity to get some type of money. From my understanding, since the NCAA is doing this, it's allotted to the whole team. So it's not necessarily only like the best few players getting something. I mean, like, I'm assuming practice squad players go get some type of compensation. I'm not saying thousands but at least they
A
getting
little
something,
something, a little something.
something, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you never get to play, but you go to practice and you give your all every day, dude. So I feel like it's good for them to get something. You know what I mean? Um, I want to see. I don't want to be that guy, but I kind of want to see a little bit more regulations with it, just to keep it from being like the wild wild west. Again, two things can be true. Can players have complete freedom to do whatever they want? Should they have the freedom to do whatever they want? You know what I mean? Yes, because coaches can go to another school whenever they want, and I perfectly understand that. But I also say it needs to be a little bit more professional, shall I say? Like, just the back and forth, back and forth. The one kid went to Texas Tech, then he went back to Texas and it's like it got to be a little bit something to stop that from happening. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the one and done's got to stop, but at the same time, like, if the coach leaves, that should void whatever it is. But to stay on topic, I'm happy. I think it's a win for not just football but all the sports, because I'm assuming it's a
Yeah.
over the whole sports program. Of course, we all know we're not crazy. Football, basketball go get the biggest portion of it, but
I'm hearing some SEC schools are going to do 85% of that cap space is going to go to football, which I mean shouldn't be a surprise. It dominates all the revenue. If you're going to do revenue sharing, don't be surprised that football takes a majority of that, right? I think one thing to your point about just the one and dones with the transfer portal, and this may get off topic, but to your point, you mentioned Micah Hudson, the Texas Tech wide receiver that went to A&M, had a pit stop, basically put his stuff at the door, and then a couple months later dips out. You got to have some sort of regulation. And like, to me, dude, the spring transfer portal window makes zero sense. Man, imagine you're a coach and you bring in these guys, you're finishing up bowl season, you're getting ready for spring practice, and then all of a sudden you find out your starting quarterback is out. Who does that remind you of? Nico. Like, because he wants to bring in some more money. How are you going to build a roster with this spring transfer window? Like, it makes, if we're going to go towards the NFL, like the NFL doesn't get a second free agency after training camp, right? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, there's got to be more regulation. I am a little more pessimistic about this, though. Truthfully, the $20.5 million, cap annually and everything, I got to see it to believe it. You and I both know, obviously, more tenured college football fan, the NCAA is not going to step in and do much. They're going to sniff around. They're going to say, hey, we vacated these wins. All is done. They're not going to really regulate it. So I got to see it to believe it on something like this, truthfully.
Honestly, a lot of the teams don't even have to accept it. I don't know. I feel like this might be the beginning of the end of college football of what we know it. You even got the SEC and the Big Ten commissioners talking about, like, they just thinking about starting their own leagues. Like, let the NCAA be the NCAA, and they're finna operate on their own entity, which they always have. Like, I'm not gonna act like
it's just now in writing. It's now in writing.
It's now in writing. It's like them telling them, like, hey, bro, we got enough money to break away, because I think that like them dudes like got it like monopolies. You remember when FSU was thinking about trying to change conferences? They was talking about, dude, we want like 750 million. It was something like that. It was like 5 billion or something like that. I was like, whoa, like that. Think that a conference has that type of power over a team. So I know it's possible, you know what I mean? Because like you said, I don't even know. I played in the NCAA and I don't even know what they do besides drug test you. Like, so it's like, yeah, I get it. It sounds nice on paper. I agree with you. It sounds good on paper. You feel me? But just given the track record of the NCAA, given the track record of coaches and players versus the NCAA, I mean, it's no guarantee that every team just opts in and be like, hey, yeah, dude, I agree. Like, yeah, 20 million, give it to us. Like, and we
sounds good.
Yeah, super good. So it's like, I don't know, because then I'm pretty sure to get that money, you probably won't be able to get like no type of extra money from like boosters. So if you like Michigan, when you had Barstool Sports put up that $1 million or $5 million to get the best high school quarterback, I don't think that exists no more. Once you take that 20 million, it's like, oh, nah, use the money we gave you.
It's got to be a business deal. So like one of the stats that they said was like they do like basically like a coat check of NIL deals. So basically what they're going to do is they said about 75% of the collective deals would not have passed, but about 95% of like the business deals, the ones that are like, you remember Bijan doing like the mustard deal where he got his own mustard, that would be all right.
Jalen Milroe with the State Farm. Yeah,
exactly. Those would be fine. But compared to like what you're talking about, Barstool basically saying we're going to make a $10.5 million donation to go get Bryce Underwood, or Barstool, it was really Dave Portnoy.
Right.
That's not going to pass anymore, which I think is a good thing for the sport, truthfully.
I feel like the only reason why I feel like that's not a good thing, because it's going, how can I put this? It's going to even out the playing field too much. Like, that's why I feel like, Barstool being able to put up 10.5 million, that's why Michigan will always be a blue blood. You know what I mean? Like Alabama, it's like some of these schools should always remain what they are. You know what I mean? Like Ohio State being able to put up all of that money for their roster. Everybody complaining about, they talking about they had a $20 million roster before this even came out. So it's like, if a school is able to have those resources, they should still be able to supply them resources, if that makes sense. I know it sounds bad, bro, but no, life isn't fair. Like, this. Like, like it's a big difference between us and ESPN. Like they got a different amount of backing when it comes
Yeah.
to the content they put out. Saying that, oh, bro, once every blue moon will our TikToks do better. Like, of course, like that's just what it is because you can't deny like good takes. You can't deny certain times when good talent prevails. But in retrospect, if you see something like that, like ESPN have something that goes viral, it's like it should. Like look at all the financial backing you have. You know what I mean? But if we make everything equal, which I get it, for us that would be good. If you made everything equal, you know, now you don't have those type of powerhouses. Like I said, like now it's gonna be hard for the Alabama, the Texas A&Ms. It's gonna be hard for those schools to be able to exist now. Now you're gonna start having a national championship. You're gonna have Tulane versus fucking Tulsa and shit like that. Like it's gonna be like, are you serious, bro? Like,
Well, let me throw something at you because I think you make a good point. You say that not everything is even. There's the big players in college football, and then you get to the smaller programs. To shift gears a little bit, the big debate has been, oh, of course the SEC wants some automatic qualifiers for the playoff. What are your thoughts on giving the SEC guaranteed spots, more than just one, for the college football playoff if we were to move to the 14 to 16 playoff format?
uh, I feel it, but only when it makes sense. If that makes
What do
sense,
you
like
mean?
you get a lot of outrageous fans and just like, oh yeah, man, 8-3 or 9-3 South Carolina should have made it. You know what I mean? Or Alabama should have made it. And it's like, nah, like I still don't want a 3-loss team making it. You know what I mean? Now, if you got a situation where you got like a Texas, you know what I mean, Georgia, all the teams like at the top where it's like they lost to each other. Like for instance, if it was just like three teams that lost to each other, you know how it just gets sticky like that. I could kind of feel three of those teams making it because it's just like, bro, it's kind of unfair that they got to play each other if that makes sense. But like just where it ends up to where it get to a situation like Clemson to where it's like we emotionally put a team in there and it just
Hey,
messed up
let me
the
ask you
whole.
the one. Hey, listen, I get it. You don't want the three lost teams in there. Honest as true. Like, give me an honest answer here. Indiana, Alabama played at the end of the year. Who do you think is going to win that game?
Uh, I get what you're saying, but I ain't gonna lie.
Now,
You can
maybe Indiana is a bad choice. Let's say, why does Boise State should have an automatic qualifier if there's such a gap between the group of five compared to the top two conferences with the Big Ten and the SEC? Like, if I'm the SEC and I'm bringing in all these new teams, Oklahoma, Texas, and making my schedule just an absolute gauntlet, and now I'm getting punished for having an absolute gauntlet of a schedule, while Boise State, though a good team, just automatically gets the same amount of spots as me. I would feel some type of way, wouldn't you?
No, I definitely would feel some type of way, especially when you factor in the strength of schedule. I think it goes back to it should have either been Clemson or SMU. Once Clemson beat SMU in that title game, they should have lost a spot. Oh well, womp womp. You had two losses, but you should have finished it at the very because it be situations like that. And I do agree. Maybe if you was like in a weaker conference like the Mountain West, yeah, you
Mm.
probably shouldn't have got an automatic bid. I do agree. Like maybe they should do that a little bit differently. Like the automatic bid should factor in strength of schedule overall. Like you know what I mean? Because wasn't Boise like ranked 15th or 13th or something like that? It was something like that right after they won the little
But they get
championship
to be top four.
top four. Like, so that made no sense. Like, they should have. If okay, cool, they can make the playoff. Not saying they shouldn't, but being a lock at the top four slot when it's like teams that's been in dog SEC schedules, like still trying to figure out should they get in. No, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, I don't know, man. I don't want them to add more games, but it's looking like it got to be more games. Like, because
You think we got to go to 9 conference games?
uh, I won't even say more
It's
confident.
been the big. It's been the big debate. Like it's been the big thing.
You know, Alabama won an all-conference schedule during COVID too.
Hey, that's when Texas A&M played its best football, was it not?
Yeah.
When we went to an all-conference schedule,
That was
was
the
the
only
closest
loss.
they got to the college football playoff was getting smacked by y'all. Which, by the way, Notre Dame should not have made
That
that
made it.
college football playoff.
I agree with that. I agree with Jimbo. Jimbo was so pissed because he was like,
Oh my gosh, dude.
y'all lost to Alabama without Jalen Waddle. Like we played them like at full power. I feel Jimbo. It was like he was like our only losses versus Alabama at full power. Like you not finna tell us we don't deserve it. Like
Now we would have gotten smacked. Like I for sure think we lose first round, but in this world, saying that you went to a college football playoff holds a lot of weight.
yeah. And maybe Jimbo might still be the coach. Maybe
No. Bro, if there's someone, if you are out here watching, there's someone that is like my Voldemort. You do not talk about Jimbo Fisher, bro.
He got y'all the greatest recruiting class in the history of college football.
Oh my god, dude. I will say this though. I will say this before we get to our next topic. I will say I don't know how plugged in you are into recruiting. I might be falling for the bait with A&M recruiting again. Elko's building something a little special. They have been in contention with the number 6 overall recruit Lamar Brown, who's battling. He's from Louisiana. First of all, I know being an Alabama guy, isn't there just something inherently wrong? The number 1 Louisiana player coming out of high school not going to LSU, like what is Brian Kelly doing? If you fumble that bag. Come on.
That's 2. That'll be 2.
Who was the second one?
No, Bryce Underwood from Louisiana.
Oh. No, I thought Underwood was from Michigan.
Oh, no. You're right. Nah,
yeah, that's why he went to Michigan.
But no, that's why he went to Michigan. But they had him at LSU. I don't care what nobody said. They had him like you gotta be able to reel that in. It's no
Could you imagine how nasty the debate would be with, Nussmeier QB1? I know there would be, as soon as Nussmeier throws another egregious pick, because it's going to happen, and I'm high on Nussmeier. But as soon as that first bad pick happens, the amount of people that are going to say, man, we should put Bryce in there. I think the narratives would have been so nasty if he had stayed at LSU. I don't even know if Nussmeier would have stayed for his year. I think he may have gone to the NFL.
Bryce a unit, though. I ain't going to lie, bro. That's a grown man right there.
That's a grown man playing football. He made Alex Orji look small.
Yeah, they say he 18, but that boy 30 in the body, man. Like that boy's a grown man right there, dog. This ain't a Big Ten show, but back to y'all. Y'all cheat with y'all. I'm at this point. I don't know what y'all do over there. I watch Ryan Williams' podcast, and they was talking.
We almost got him.
Yes,
we almost got him.
What he said, that's literally what he said, dude. Like he was like, I was sitting there, and he said, not only him, it was him and Mbakwe. They almost got him and Bach. And Bach almost just transferred to Texas A&M too. But coming out of high school, because they was good friends, I was like, dog. I hate
Mbakwe is the crazy like 6'3", 6'4" corner.
No, that's he like 5'10", 5'11".
Ah, got it.
But he switched to receiver though, because we got, like you said, our secondary is annoyingly tall this year, dog. That's Dijon Lee, who you thinking about. He like 6'4", 6'5", play corner. Yeah, he go. Oh my gosh, he is advertised.
Well, speaking of Alabama, I think it would be a good point to ask something around their upcoming season, as I almost feel like they're weirdly not, I wouldn't say weird. They're growing some steam in terms of the hype train throughout the offseason. Alabama, Caden Proctor, there's a little bit of hype with Ty Simpson, but I think one of the big ones is bringing Ryan Grubb from Seattle, the original offensive coordinator that Kalen DeBoer wanted, and now he is coming back home. What do you think Ryan Grubb is going to do in terms of impact for Alabama this upcoming season?
I think this is the perfect year to have an offensive coordinator like Ryan Grubb to come back. As y'all see, my headline is Ty Simpson FC. And I don't just say that because I think he's just this generational talent, but I think what it is for me His skill set allows offensive coordinators like Ryan Grubb, offensive mind coaches like Debo, Kalen DeBoer, you call him Debo, but it allows them to call the plays that they like. Um,
Hmm.
Now I get it. He probably won't make Caleb Williams type plays or whatever the case may be, but he's going to make the plays we need to keep the drive alive. The guys we got at receiver, Jeremy Bernard, especially Ron Williams, what he can do after the catch. A lot of times, a lot of the routes they get drawn up is routes for them to do just that. Just get them the ball and let them do the rest. And I feel like with Ty Simpson back there is going to be a lot of a quarterback getting the ball out very quickly, very efficiently, and it's going. We got the best receiving core in the country this year. I strongly believe this. Like, I don't think people understand, dude. Like, Ryan is a monster, bro. Like, I'm so happy that we got Grubbs there calling the plays. Like, this team, we do for one, and this might be the year. And I ain't even just being a fan. We a lot better. We're a lot better. I'm happy. Bray Hubbard, all of them coming along. Like, that's who to watch out for, man. Like, he gonna
I
pop
don't
off.
want to. I don't want to get too sidetracked. Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think Ryan Williams is on the same tier as Jeremiah Smith?
I ain't gonna say. Put it this way: they special in they for different reasons. Because I don't want to say. Because it's hard to say like, oh, JJ is just a more freakish athlete because they freakish in their own way. Ryan is, after the catch, dynamic. What he able to do with the ball in his hand, because he had some ridiculous catches too, like that one on the sideline versus Vanderbilt. That was a freakish catch. He caught with one arm and then he broke it. Like, I don't think people really understand the catch that didn't count versus Oklahoma. What was a catch? Like, that was an
That
end.
okay? Yeah, that one is crazy, and it
So
didn't count. That one was insane.
it's like Ryan has it. Like, he has the little. He got the
He's got
little
the. He's
juice.
got it. He's
He
got it.
got it, bro. But it's like, don't get me wrong. When you see JJ, it's just like you just shake your head, like, whatever, dude. Like, you got like whatever, bro. Like, you got it, man. Like, you right. Like, it's just, how can I put it? It's pretty much like Chad Ochocinco and Julio Jones. You know what I mean? Like, are you mad if you get Chad Ochocinco? No, but I mean, you a lot happier if you got Julio Jones in a sense. Like, it's like, but I don't know though. It's weird to me because I like Ryan. I'm biased, but I like Ryan. I think this year we really gonna get to see the real Ryan. Like, I don't know. And then you got Horton over there too. Horton's gonna be nice, and Jeremy. Jeremy gonna be that dude got some hands right there. I don't think people know. He might have the most underrated hands in the SEC. Seriously.
Isn't Horton and Ty Simpson former high school teammates too?
I think so, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm super happy. But he had transfer away. I don't know. I don't know if Ty had influence on that or whatever, but
I'm
I'm
sure.
happy.
I'm sure Ty sent him a quick text saying, "Hey,
Yeah, like, come
we
on, bro.
got something cooking."
I'm gonna throw it to you.
Before we look at Alabama as a whole, I think there's one thing that I'd push back on is like, from what it sounds like, Jalen Milrow is what held y'all back from getting in the college football playoff.
Yeah, and this is what's gonna be so nasty, bro. Like, this is how
You
it
are
goes.
being nasty.
No,
Come
because
on,
look,
bro.
he is gonna do good with the Seattle Seahawks. This is not an NFL show, but this is gonna be the shit that really, excuse my language. This is what's gonna be really piss me off. He is gonna pretty much shred it in the NFL with how they call plays, everything. He is gonna be pretty good in the NFL. But like, for what we was trying to do at Alabama, bro, he held us hostage, dude. Like, it was so many times. It was just like KYP, know your personnel, and it just, yeah. I don't know, man. It was nasty, bro. He really, dude. It was bad, bro. Like, he really made me second guess going hard on Jalen Hurts. Like, he made Jalen Hurts not look bad. Like, That's how bad
Oh
it was.
my
Dude. Like
gosh.
it was. I'm not even trying to do that, but it was
You're
bad,
going
bro.
down a nasty path if you're doing that.
It's not a nasty path, bro. It was bad, dude. That was some bad football he put on display last year. I'm sorry, man.
I think
It was
also,
bad, bro.
I mean, you watched every single game. I think could you also argue it was weird that they weren't that effective of a rushing team with Milrow and Jam Miller. They were expected that they like have a ton of running backs. That's like my one concern with them this year. Like they do have the great offensive line. They got the great wide receivers. They got the play caller. I think Ty Simpson at worst is going to be competent, right? Like I don't know if I'm on Ty Simpson FC to a point where he is as far as you're taking him, but I think he's going to be a pretty damn good quarterback. I just don't know if I can fully trust until Alabama shows me that they can run the ball consistently. And you're taking away a threat like Jalen Milrow's legs. That was the strength with the team last year, but they still weren't that great of a rushing team. Is that not a fair concern too?
Well, okay, this is the reason why. I think how can I put this? I partially think Milrow was kind of trying to protect his stock in a sense, like because we tried to use him as the primary focal rusher. Um, and on some plays, it just looked like he didn't want to run. It didn't look like he wanted to utilize his legs at all. It looked like he was just so indecisive. So when it went that route, they already had it in their head that the running backs were kind of like the tier two attack of rushing. You know what I mean? So they never really gave it a chance. Like a lot of the games, like them running backs only have 5, 6 rushing yards. So I think Ryan Grooves is coming in. He's going to come in, and I think he's going to have a better implementation on running the ball, a good emphasis. Because in the NFL, you got to be able to run the ball. Like you got to. And then he had Kenneth Walker. I don't know how. I think Jam Miller is good. Him and Kenneth Walker share some similarities. So I'm thinking maybe however they used him, Rashard Penny, they go come over there and use our running backs the same way. Jam Miller is due to have a big season. I think he's gonna go for a K this year. I actually do. I think Jam does what he needs to do, and I also hope Justice Haynes has a good year too, man. I just feel him.
Mm.
I agree with you. Our Russian attack wasn't consistent, and
Wasn't
from
what it
what I
should be
saw
on paper.
at all, after watching the games, it wasn't a real emphasis on them trying to establish the run with running backs. I think it's going to be more of an emphasis this year on that. Well, you have to, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, I think this is a good stepping stone, and we're spending some time on Alabama just because I think throughout the offseason, we're going to spend a lot of time going through each team and then taking a step back and looking at the overall conference. Because what else are you supposed to do during the offseason? I think Bama, starting with your team, you see the question on your screen. What does success look like for Kalen DeBoer in year 2 for the Alabama Crimson Tide?
I think we at least go 10-2.
Mm.
I think you follow up this year, and that's just a bare minimum. I think we follow up this year, at least making it to the SEC championship. I think if we at least make it to the SEC championship, that's a step in the right direction of where Bama fans want to be. Um, because last year they gave him grace because that really wasn't his team. He just kind of took over Nick Saban's team, even though it was a good team. A lot of people would say, even though you took over a good team, you know, this is the fair year you get. You get to get your recruits up in there, some players you're more comfortable with, an extra year of you instilling your values, playbook, standard, whatever the case may be. So now this is the year. So I think success. I'm not trying to be a fan, but it SEC championship.
Be a fan. Be a
SEC
fan. I mean, where do you see 2 losses? Where do you see the 2 losses coming from?
Got to be in that. So the only 2 losses I really think possibly could happen, and I hate to say it, is shit, bro. I hate to fucking say it, bro. Auburn being one of them, they scared me, dude.
Going to Jordan-Hare, man. Jordan-Hare is gonna be.
Auburn sneaky over there too. They got a little something cooking over there, bro. We might.
I learned the hard way. 4 overtimes. That defense, like, listen, if Peyton Thorne wasn't just throwing to the other team every 3 seconds,
yeah,
I think they're what doesn't make sense to me, Bama, is the way that they hype up Florida. Like, Florida is just guaranteed to be good. And I like DJ Lagway, but then they're writing off how good Auburn's team is. Auburn's got a really good roster, just overall. And it makes no sense to me. I think y'all going to South Carolina following the 3rd Saturday in October against Tennessee, that's a tough spot to be in. No break in between. That will be your, 5th straight game in a row, having to go into South Carolina, one of the most underrated stadiums in the country. Like, listen, and Lenore Sellers, it don't matter if you got Ray Lewis, if you got Ed Reed back there, he's going to break a tackle and cause problems. You also go to Georgia, and then you have Auburn.
Them the only 2 losses. I was going to say Georgia and Auburn. Them the only 2 losses I really see. For real, I ain't really worried about it. I'm trying to tell people, bro, Lenore Sellers only throwing the ball 10, 12 times, dude. That's not finna scare nobody, bro. Like, I get it. They want to ride on that defense, but nah.
I'll be honest. I'm not like, I don't think South Carolina has the roster that people saw the very exciting end to the year. There was a lot of people pushing for them to make the college football playoff. I don't know if the way that they were playing is completely sustainable without having like some wide receiver jump. You know, Nick Harbor from College Football 25, that 99 speed and the 6'5" frame, that sounds good, but he's got to show me that he can actually be anything more than the guy that you want to go get in the transfer portal for College Football 25. I do think it's a little interesting that you're concerned about Georgia. I'm not that high on Georgia. I'm not that scared of Georgia this year. This may be one of the takes that backfires within the first couple of weeks, but is Gunnar Stockton really worried? Like, I'm not that scared of Georgia this year just because, dude, did you know they were like in the hundreds in running the football? What Kirby Smart team is ever going to be ranked in the hundreds in running the football?
The only reason why I say I'm scared of Georgia, we didn't just beat them too many times. Way too many times, though.
And you have to go there too, and their get back is going to happen sooner or later.
Sooner or later, that's just what that's the standpoint of what I'm. Because we just asking about where we. I didn't say like the context behind why we're gonna lose, because that's what I was like also trying to tell people as well. The reason why I wasn't really tripping off Vandy like that, like, dude, we didn't beat them for like 22, 23 straight years, bro. Like, they was due for one. Like, granted, did it have to come against Alabama with a lot riding on this season? Yeah, I get it. But it was just like the fashion in which they won, a lot of emotion. Like, dude, they was just fucking due for one. The stars were aligned, dude. Like, it was just sometimes a team is just due for one, bro. Like, and I get it. Alabama does own Georgia, but sometimes a team is just due for one, bro. And I feel like that might be the only loss or 2 losses we might get, because I just hate it when Auburn is just quiet like this, and then you just see
and they're always quiet. They're not getting enough hype. Like,
yeah.
And then this is when you get the voodoo magic. Did you know they also get Georgia at home for a night game? Talk about a team that's due. I knew instantly. I think you remember when we were talking about it, when Texas A&M was in that November slump and Auburn was a like below 500 team. And I was telling everyone in the group chat, yeah, we lost. It's a night game at Jordan-Hare Stadium with a team that has gotten close to a win, like for the past like 4 weeks, but they haven't really gotten the job done. And then as soon as 21 zip happened, now luckily you got it close enough to where it was a 4 overtime heartbreaker. But I'm with you on that. And Auburn being quiet is, and I think it's a good question to ask. Do you think this is real hype, or do you think we're being a little too premature, being worried about Auburn?
Nah, I'm just coming from a standpoint of when they just be sorry for so long, they end up conjuring up some be pretty much, bro. They conjure up some bullshit when they garbage for a long time. Like it's just like out of nowhere, bro. Like for instance, I got to go back to like the Cam Newton and the Nick Marshall days. It was like, bro, them teams just came out of nowhere, like and hit everybody like a freight train, bro. Like it was just like, bro, wait, it is no way y'all are this good. Like where did and they come on them random years, they just quad in the laboratory and they like, yeah, we gonna beat Bama. Not only are we gonna beat Bama, we go because like once they get them type of rosters where they be thinking about everybody besides Bama, like that's when they're the scariest, bro. Like to me, like when they think about everybody outside of Alabama, like they really become a problem, bro. And I heard their defensive coordinator, he was talking about some you can't play, you can't play you can't play at Auburn, you can't play at Auburn if you don't run track. You can't play DB
Yeah.
for Auburn if you don't run track. And I was like, whoa, like that's a crazy.
They're gonna have some athletes out there, huh?
Yeah, dude. And it's just like hearing stuff like that is kind of like it get me a little worried, bro. Like just to I don't know. But
they have a lot going for them. I just think, I mean, maybe it's just from that loss when I got to really see them, I think at the best point throughout the season. And they played Georgia close last year, if I'm remembering correctly. They do have a run of at Oklahoma, and I'm high on Oklahoma. I think they're going to be a pretty good team. At Texas A&M, and then they follow it up with a bye week, and then they play Georgia at night the very next week. I think the schedule sets themselves up. We'll find out real quick how good Auburn is. They play at Baylor week 1. And Bama, I don't know if you know this. There's a lot of people that think Baylor's going to win pretty comfortably. This is where they get you. This is exactly where Auburn wants to be.
Yeah. If Auburn lose that game, though, scratch everything I just said.
It's going to be BTA, even if it's Jordan Hare.
Yeah, scratch everything I just said. Auburn, if y'all lose that game against Baylor, bro, scratch everything I just said because we sick of y'all. I'm gonna let you know that right now. We sick of y'all. Y'all do this every year, get everybody hopes up, and then y'all finna go out there and lose against them. I'm getting mad just thinking about it.
Hey, listen, I don't know what you're talking about, getting hopes up and just getting crushed. I wouldn't know about that life at all. I wouldn't know about that at all. All right. Well, I think a good stepping back point right now, we talked about Alabama. We looked into a little bit of Auburn. And it doesn't mean that's going to be the last time we talk about these two programs, as they're going to be obviously on Bama's mind at all times. I think we should look at the overall SEC championship race. And if you look at the odds, and if you look how people are talking about the SEC, it seems like it's a 3-team race between Texas, Georgia, and Alabama to make the SEC championship. Is there any other teams? Obviously, you want to see Alabama to make the SEC championship, and that's your expectation of success for Kalen DeBoer. But who else outside of those 3 teams do you think could make the SEC title game this year?
If he won his job, it was gonna have to be Brian Kelly, like just due to expectations, because people can sit around. You know, we can sit around and just act like, oh, it's okay. But unless you ain't got that type of culture of, oh, it's just okay to keep losing over and over again. Like, no, I don't think people understand the implications that even the expectations going into this year what Brian Kelly has. Like, to me, I already told you, he didn't fit. Come down there using the fake Cajun accent, Southern accent. Like, dude, what are you doing? So I'm going to use them just based off of the pressure and the hot seat that Brian Kelly is on. I'll say Texas A&M too. Texas A&M is a good one. Um,
Hey, hey, hey.
Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed. I like him a lot. I think he could. He's like one of them quarterbacks that can beat a few teams he shouldn't beat. They get a team in the SEC championship. Of course, if the stars align, this is everybody's favorite college football team, the South Carolina Gamecocks. Of course, if granted, man, hopefully he throws the ball more than 12 times. If he could throw the ball 20 times, I'll take Lenore Stellar stock. I might take stock on Lenore Sellers making the SEC.
Is he in that Jalen Milroe tier for you?
I don't even know. I won't even put him that high because Milroe can pass the ball, like he doesn't throw the ball, dude. Like I don't think people understand. Like it's like they try to protect him.
What would you say your comp is for Lenoris? Like, are you saying like first practice Jalen Hurts? Like, how
No,
nasty are you trying to be?
KJ Jefferson. Yeah, I see more KJ Jefferson in Lenore Sellers than anything. Like, I'm sorry, dude. I know that's nasty, but y'all don't know. I'm the nasty man. I see more KJ
Oh,
Jefferson than anything. Like every time, people just get out here and they do backflips over, and I'm like, over KJ Jefferson. Mm.
dog. I mean, I will say this though, KJ, people may react to that nasty, and I think it's nasty. I want that for the record. I think that's nasty. I don't want to endorse that, but I will say this because people will have revisionist history about KJ Jefferson. He had some crazy moments at Arkansas, and there was some serious hype with him, like because they saw the number one, a big-bodied quarterback with an arm, and he kind of threw the ball like Cam Newton. So there was some hype with KJ. It's still crazy to call him Lenora Sellers because I think Sellers is easily better. Oh, that's nasty, Bama. That's some
Y'all
nasty
just talking
work.
about potential, bro. I don't see it, bro. Like he also has potential to be KJ Jefferson. I
No one
mean,
wants. So you're saying no one wants to talk about the floor? They just want to see what the maxed out character on Madden looks like.
because I mean, to me, I don't even is he even the best quarterback on his roster?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't
I
do
like
that.
I like Aaron Nolan. I like
Oh,
Aaron Nolan
you
a
are
lot.
nasty.
I like Aaron Nolan a lot. I do. That's how nasty I am, Tegan. I mean, look, I'm like, hey, man.
Are you just saying as a quarterback, a guy that throws the football? Sure, Aaron Nolan might be better than Lenore Sellers, but who am I putting in the starting quarterback position to put me in the best chance to win football games? It's Lenore Sellers. What are we doing here?
Is he putting you in chances to win, or is it just that defense being a
Oh,
maniac of a defense?
shout out to Dylan Stewart. You mentioned the defense. Shout out to that freak of nature defensive end. Did you hear that they offered some team? It wasn't disclosed. $8 million for Lenore Sellers to leave. Ain't that crazy?
Oh,
How much would you pay for Lenore Sellers to go be your quarterback?
honestly, bro, I don't know, Tegan. Like, maybe you can help me with this. Who sets the NIL value of players? Like, how how does that get assessed? Because, like, for instance, Ron Williams was making like 700, 600,000 NIL value. They was like, after the Georgia game, his NIL value is 1.5 million. Like, who assess these NIL deals? Like, who's in
I,
charge of it?
I'm looking at it. The one that comes to mind is like the on three NIL valuations, and
Oh,
it's they start talking about algorithms. Talking about the athletes, the brand negotiations. I mean, it seems like you get like a different answer each time, right? Like I hear Ryan Williams. You mentioned a number that was under a million. I hear Casey Concepcion getting 3 million when he went to Texas A&M. Like it just I never feel like I get the full story on like how much it is. You get a little bit of a peek, you hear rumors of it, but people say the like numbers are out and about. And sure, I don't know if you saw this. Texas pulled Lamborghinis and just put them all over the field for their recruiting. I got some feelings about that, and I'm gonna get called biased on it. But the fact that so many people were on Texas A&M for that 2022 class and how much money they were spending, but they don't want to say a single word when Texas got Lamborghinis on the field, that's nasty work. You're a hypocrite if you did that. Because truthfully, that's wild to me, at least from my perspective. I'd be curious on yours.
Nah, I agree, bro. But people pick and choose. People pick and choose. It's okay. It's just like certain stuff is okay when certain people do it versus others. It's like, oh nah, we don't want y'all doing it. Like, because I think out of Texas and Texas A&M, Texas is more of a blue blood, so we just want them to automatically do good. Like we want to see them get back to how they used to be, just for nostalgia purposes. You know how old heads are in their nostalgia. Like it's
They
like,
want
oh,
Nebraska to come back. They want
oh,
Miami to get back.
they want
They
Colorado,
want
all of them. Listen here, I want to tell all them old heads. This is when I side with the young ones. Never in ever again will Nebraska be a powerhouse. Sorry. Enjoy it while you hey, it's in your memory vault. You got it. You got the experience. You get hey, think about it like this. You get to say you experienced something that a lot of people haven't. You know what I mean? But should they be powerhouses now where college football is? No, dude. Like nobody wants to see it, dude. Like we want to see teams like Texas A&M get it together and actually put a championship run behind them top rosters they built. So what? They was able to build it. They was able to get them kids to go there. Everybody else had the same opportunity to do the same thing they did to get the same type of product, especially in today's era of college football. Like everybody got the same red carpet at this point. You saw how Tennessee pulled out the red carpet for that receiver. What was the kid name? Like dude, they threw like a party for him. Like I could not believe it. If he don't flip from Florida State, I believe it was. I think he's committed there. I'd know something, bro. Like it's wild, bro. Like how they pulled out the red carpet for him. But I feel like this: if everybody got the same opportunity to recruit the same type of ways, you know what I mean? Granted, I do feel you right there. That's kind of nasty. Like with the Lamborghinis, it's like what are we doing here? Like what are we selling the kids on here? Like
and then you get Sarkisian coming out saying like, you know, he's been very vocal before about how they don't use that much money. And like, don't get it twisted. I think one of the things that people really don't understand in recruiting is like, yes, NIL is a part of it. And there's kids out there that like base their decision on NIL. I'm not naive to that. But I would say like 85, 90%, maybe even higher, are built on the relationships with the schools, the coaching, the staff. I'll say this though, it is crazy to see, like, for example, Lamar Brown comes out from his official visit from Texas A&M, cancels his visit to LSU. It's a big deal because Texas A&M and LSU were seen as the two contenders for the number one player in the state of Louisiana. Following that, just in 24 hours, he reannounces that his recruitment, he is going to take the official visit. The thing is, in the tweet, it says, according to his agent, Lamar Brown will be taking a visit to LSU. That not crazy to see that in live time? I think that's like on the same tier as like when we saw like blank player agrees to a contract or a contract extension or NIL adjustment to his contract. Like we saw with Nico. Like it's crazy nowadays to see this kind of stuff.
yeah, to see this player signs with this team on this NIL deal, I'm like, it's just gross, bro. Like I don't like it, bro. Like I'm almost to the point, bro. Go back to how it was, just paying them up under the table, dude. Like this
I don't want
how
to see it.
yeah, this how it's just oh my gosh, dude. I'm I don't care. Like they gotta figure it out some type of way, dude. Like I said, I want them to make their money, man. But I don't know, bro. Like,
Yeah. we don't got to dive back into the because it's a slippery slope. We'll be here for another hour talking about that. You mentioned a couple of teams, Texas A&M, and we'll have our segment on Texas A&M sooner or later because I am very high on this team. And then to your point with Marcel Reed, the offensive line, there's a lot of things to like. I'm also being very cautious of ever predicting double-digit wins, as Bama knows. That has burned me multiple years at this point. I'm surprised you didn't say Florida. Are you not buying the Florida hype for this year? Because I will say it's getting kind of too far, in my opinion. I'm seeing them ranked definitively in the top 10.
I mean, they do for it though, and they put a lot of money into their roster too. So I think they all in on trying to get to that point, if that makes sense. Like, will they be that team? Who knows? Really, is only as far as DJ Lagway taken, because obviously he's the guy. That's what they're going with right now. You see talks in the 2026 draft. They talking about something. He going after Arch Manning 5th, like something like that. I'm like, okay, so
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous.
But see what you're saying? It's just like, damn, bro. Like, what has he done? Like,
what has Arch done outside of having a cool last name?
I don't know. I think Arch might be more solidified than what a lot of people think, though.
Okay, I was about to say more solidified than Lagway would be kind of crazy at this point. Now, we could talk at the end of the season and make that justification. What would you say is for Florida? I mean, you know how tough the schedule is. I got it pulled up right here. We could do a very quick schedule prediction if you wanted to. But what would you think is a successful year for them? Because Billy Napier.
9-3.
I thought he was going to be fired after that A&M game when Marcel Reed got put in and just torched them. And after they got, that Miami game, do you remember the narratives around Florida after that Miami game? How bad it was?
Looking bad. They was looking bad.
Having recruits come up to you, having Miami players come up to recruits and saying, you're going to the wrong school in Florida. Like, that was so nasty to do. And yet not a lot of them didn't recruit.
Did Alabama, though. I think
they
but you're right. It's a rival. It's an in-state rival. You can't let it go down like that. It's a gauntlet of a schedule, Tegan. Holy shit.
Listen. So we could go through it real quick. I mean, Long Island, I think that's a win. No one's going to fight that. South Florida. Now, you know about South Florida a little too well, how much headaches South Florida gave you.
Yeah, and I'm a Tampa native now, so I South Florida.
Yeah.
It's not. We could pencil this as a win, but I'm not going to ink it as a win like I did with
Bama.
Like Long Island, man. I think they're gonna smoke Long Island, but this one might be a real close one right here with South Florida. LSU
at LSU at night.
Shit, bro, that's pretty much a loss, dude.
It's early in the season. I think they get their get back. That's going to be their Super Bowl, especially if you're saying they lose to LSU in week 3. I think that's their get back because it's not like they're traveling far from LSU now going to Miami and Coral Gables where it's not. I don't know if it's going to be that packed.
I don't know. They got Carson Beck, dude. I wouldn't really sleep on him like that. They paying a good bit of money for him too. Like, I don't just think Miami's going to be so much.
I think Miami's going to be a smooth 9-3. Like, I don't think they're moving the needle for me. I think Georgia Tech's better than them, to be honest.
I'm not mad at that. So you saying they win that one? So they 3-1 right now, going into Texas
at home in the swamp. That to me, I think has underrated game of the year potential because if you remember, they played at Texas last year. DJ Lagway did not play. DJ Lagway is a Longview kid from the state of Texas. Do you think they can knock off what's probably going to be like a top 3 team?
I think Texas win that one.
and then they have to travel to the team that was second in DJ Lagway's recruiting. They're very close to flipping him. They have to go to Kyle Field. I mean, this is a gauntlet of a schedule.
Yeah,
I'm going to be biased.
That one.
I think they lose that one. I think they bounce back against Mississippi State. I don't think you and I are very high on Mississippi State this year, to be honest.
No, at all.
It's like Kentucky. Then they get Georgia. You know where that's played.
Like Jacksonville. I think they win this one.
They were close last year, if you remember.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think they actually win this one.
They were due. What are they at now? 1, 2, 3 losses. So if they could run the table, I think they could get to the college football playoff. They go to Kentucky. I'm never gonna say after last year with Ole Miss, and to be honest, was Billy Napier really proven that he's guaranteed to win these games? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
But we can pencil it in as a win. I'm not gonna write it in Sharpie if that makes sense.
Of course. I don't know. I don't think they beat Ole Miss.
You don't think they beat Ole Miss? Are you high on Austin Simmons?
Yeah, I am. I like him a lot. I mean, I know it probably could be misleading. I'm probably setting myself up here. But I like Austin Simmons. Lane. I mean, I'm just a Lane fan too, though. I think that's what it is. I should put Lane Kiffin FC. Like, I don't know. I like Lane.
If you had a second team.
No, I just like Lane as a coach. He like my style of coach. Just from his days going against Nick Saban and Kirby Smart in practice, and how he like stood up for himself as a coach on Nick Saban's coaching staff. He dared to challenge the I don't know what you would call Nick Saban, but Lane Kiffin didn't take no shit. So I respect Lane, you know what I mean? And then he kind of embodied the Nick Saban mentality, but he put like a new spin on it. And I like Lane. I appreciate Lane, bro. Like he a hell of a coach, dude. He the reason why you see them type of quarterbacks over there at Alabama now. Getting Blake Barnett. That was like the first 5-star prototype we got, like they can throw the ball all over the place. And that was Lane. He started that whole pipeline, getting Cali kids to come over there. So, Lane did a service for Alabama. So he got a special place in my heart, man. I appreciate Lane.
I guess one question there's been a lot of debate about with Lane, at least, is do you think Lane Kiffin can win at like a conference title level, college football playoff level at Ole Miss? Or do you think he's a coach that may need to elevate to like a Florida? Because there's been a ton of rumors that he was potentially in contention for that Florida job. Or do you think he could do it at Ole Miss?
It's hard because that is a good inference. That's a good that's a good observation. It's just some teams that I don't think they'll ever be national championship winning teams.
Not year in and year out, because Ole Miss is an opportunistic program. Like they have to ramp things up to a title shot. Like honestly, last year I thought that was their best chance, and now they kind of have to do a very soft reset as they build back up to another big swing. Because I mean, I'm sure you heard the coaches were petrified of Ole Miss potentially getting into the playoff just because of the talent level and the amount of NFL players that were on that roster. Now, Jackson Dart was not going to move the needle for me to be afraid of them, but coaches are going to look at a completely different perspective and see the overall talent roster compared to a lot of the back half teams.
I mean, I don't know where. I mean, Florida. Yeah, maybe.
He's only 50. He's like in coach speak. He's pretty young. I think Lane, the best of Lane, is still yet to come pretty easily.
Damn, Lane been coaching a minute. I'm gonna say only 50. Lane been coaching.
Well, I say only 50 if you're a true college football fan.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know Lane Kiffin yet. I don't know what you've been paying attention to. I mean, we're in 2025. He's been coaching what? I'm trying to pull up his 2000. He was an assistant coach in 1998, offense coordinator in 05-06. Then you have the Raiders thing in 07-08. I mean, that's ridiculous. He was so young during
Wasn't
those
he at
times.
USC too?
Yeah, USC. He was offense coordinator,
Yeah.
I believe during Reggie Bush's time.
Because his dad was like the defensive coordinator, Monty Kiffin, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Lane could win a college football playoff game or two at Ole Miss. I don't think he'll ever get them to a serious contender level because I just think there's got to be another layer of talent. Like, I think the most talented team from Ole Miss during his time has been the one that we just saw. And it was just missing that extra step that, like, we see with Georgia, we see with Ohio State. There's just another gear. Like, Alabama had another gear in terms of talent. And I don't know if you're ever going to get that at Ole Miss.
Do you want to see him like back at like somewhere like USC, maybe?
It depends, truthfully. I think he could work at a lot of programs. Like, I think he could take a lot of the Ole Miss Tier 2 type of programs, like in the Big Ten, the SEC. I think he could take most Big 12 teams or ACC teams to their respective conference championships. But that extra gear to get to a national title contender, I think he needs more resources. That's why like a Florida makes sense. Not to say Ole Miss isn't bought in, but like you said, there's levels to the investment into a college football program, like a Texas A&M, like a Texas, like a Georgia, Florida, all these different teams that I don't think Ole Miss is going to have that level. Although they do use a lot of the NIL early stages, and I think maybe they get hurt by the salary cap, now that I think of it.
I could see Florida, maybe Florida State.
Ooh, Florida State's interesting. I still believe down the line there's maybe a Deion reunion, but I could see that. I think for the last bit of the show, as we're beginning to wrap up, I think a good question as we start to build up to prediction season. We're not going to do predictions not until we get a little bit closer. Fall camp starts up. You don't want to fire off a bunch of takes and then all this. It's way too early. But I think we can take a step back and look. Who do you think is going to be the biggest riser in the SEC? Who's going to shock some people?
Ty Simpson, baby. Gonna shock a lot of people, man. Right now, there's a lot of question marks about that quarterback room. Austin Mack, Keelan Russell. We got the highly talented freshman. I think Ty Simpson shocks a lot of people to show people that game against South Florida was a fluke. It was the rain. That's not a good reflection on the guy that he is, man. I really think that he shocks a lot of people in the SEC this year. Alabama has a lot of expectations. I think he's going to shock them with how well he meets those expectations and performs up under the pressure of those expectations, dude. I'm not just saying this as a fan, but I just think he's due for it. The reason why I think he's due for it, because in the state that college football is in today, the fact that he stayed 3 years,
crazy. It's crazy.
Waited, it's crazy, dude. So I gotta bet on a guy like that. I gotta bet on Ty Simpson. That's why I say Ty Simpson FC, bro, because he stayed, dude. 3 years. I don't care what nobody say. I'm riding with him this year. I gotta ride with him.
Do you think he gets to New York? How high are we talking? Are we thinking he's in that New York conversation? We get to November, Ty Simpson, a couple.
I ain't gonna say New York, but I think he'll be right outside of New York at 5.
You think the conversation there's going to be at least Ty Simpson, New York conversation,
at least until like
Auburn,
like LSU maybe.
Interesting. All right, yeah, no, I think that's listen, I told you. I think Ty Simpson's going to be solid. I don't know how high his ceiling is, but with those wide receivers, that offensive line, it's hard not to like the potential that's there for a guy like, you think of it with the best Alabama team in the decade with Mac Jones. Mac Jones wasn't a crazy ceiling, high-level player, but he had a plethora of talent around him and really good play calling. Sometimes that's like in college, that's all you need. And we're not talking about Ty Simpson as, oh, well, maybe he looks great next year. No, he has stayed and built up to this year. I'll take a stab at the biggest riser, in my opinion. I got to go with Marcel Reed. Truthfully, Marcel Reed, to your point with, Ty Simpson and having all the pieces around him to support him, this is something that I think Jalen Milroe really didn't have. It was kind of trying to put a square peg into a triangle. You're trying to make something out of a player that he just wasn't. With Marcel Reed and Colin Klein and that offensive line, they are going to lean on his legs in a way that's going to complement the offense. They're not going to ask him to sit back and say, Marcel, if you don't throw for 400 yards, we're going to lose this football game. What Mike Elko is going to want to do, and Bama, you know this, during that 2020 year, the best version of Texas A&M was ball control football and being able to play high-level defense. And how do you play ball control football? Do you throw it 60 times a game? No. You run the football. And when you have a guy like Le'Veon Moss, Reuben Owens, and a guy like Casey who can catch a ball on a quick jet touch pass and get 4 yards every single time and control the clock and have that time of possession, I think that's just going to complement a guy like Marcel Reed, who isn't going to have to be expected to drop back 28 times, because I think that's when they're going to lose games, is when that becomes the expectation.
I like that. I'm not mad at Marcel Reed. I think he's a good talent, dude.
I'll be honest. I miss playing Alabama on a yearly basis. I'll say, I know you got annoyed with Jimbo Fisher. Fair enough, because he had beef with the GOAT. I'll say this. As much as, adding Texas back into the schedule and all that stuff, there was just always something about having that chance to go beat Alabama every single year. That was like something that I could always look forward to, or soon to regret looking forward to. But there was something that A&M was always a little bit of a thorn in the side of Alabama that I kind of miss.
Yeah, man, it was like a brotherhood rivalry, man. Bear Bryant, we shared a lot of history together, man. I don't think a lot of maybe college
if you know.
Yeah, but Bear Bryant used to coach at Texas A&M, came over to Alabama. Gene Stallings, same thing. Even though Gene Stallings played at Alabama, but he was there. Then we got Dennis Franchione, or what was that? Mark Dubose. It was one of the two, but I believe it was one of those two, but they came over from Texas A&M and went to Alabama. So it's a long lineage of the Alabama to Texas A&M rivalry. Like I said, it's more so like a brotherhood rivalry, like LSU and Alabama. Like,
yeah,
it's not
it's not like a deep seated hate like how I feel about Texas and how you feel about Auburn or Tennessee, but. Yeah. I mean, it kicked off with the Manziel years, and then you pivoted in some BTAs. I'll admit that. The fact that Sims, what was it, 59-0?
Yeah, Sims and that juke, we juked in.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about. No. Don't give me that. No. But I'll say there was a period of where it was definitely belt to, you know what. But then you got into this like weird era where Kellen Mond was given some headaches. Then you had some close games that turned into like what traditional Alabama was, where it would be close for a half and then they would just pull away and it ended up being like 28.
I don't know how you feel about Kellen Mond, but I felt like he should have had a way better NFL career than what he had.
Yeah, and it's been really disappointing how his UFL career. He was just a guy that I think was immensely talented. He was very coachable, but there was definitely just such an inconsistency. And I think honestly, he fit what Jimbo wanted in an offense, but I don't know if what Jimbo wants in a quarterback is going to help a player best set themselves up for the NFL, if that makes sense. Because it's outdated. It's not what you need anymore.
Absolutely.
But I think for a first show, hour 9 minutes, tight show.
I mean, I don't even think it's a tight show, bro. You know what I mean? We get straight to it. It's before the
season. We get to business.
Yeah, dude. We not here to really rage bait. We here to educate, man. We here to We here to really make the SEC what it is, supreme. We better than the Big Ten. We better than the Pac, Big 12, whatever league you want to put up. It go NFL and SEC is right there, and then everybody else can fall up under it. If you ask me,
Let's start the show next week on some Big Ten SEC stuff because I've been talking about it on my channel, and it's just the way that the Big Ten want to talk about the SEC after 2 back-to-back national title winners, which respect to them, you got yours. Does not defeat a decade of just dominance. And even then, I'm sorry, you may have the top end right now, which by the way, the SEC has one down year where they don't have a supremely elite team. You really don't think there's going to be a bounce back? We could start the show next week on that. Every single Monday night, we're going to be talking about SEC. As more people come in, drop topics. We're flexible, man. We're going to talk about everything SEC. If your team hasn't been talked about, let us know. We're going to make sure that we spend some time talking about your team and the SEC as a whole. Bama, any final words for you?
Also, too, along with the dropping topics, if we're going to start having this thing called Power Hour, if you guys want us to stay on, you always can drop the super chats as well. So you drop those along with the questions to get us to stay a little bit longer too. And that way it'll be a little bit more engagement. You know what I mean? A little bit more, hey man, we talking to y'all because like I said, I believe that, I know we got the best fans in the nation. And this
loudest fans.
The loudest. And this show is going to be a representation of that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Until next week.
We out.